Akmal, what's the difference between twin flame and soulmate?
Soulmate is like brothers in arms, you know. It's like people who are fighting together or supporting each other in the journey to do things and to push each other's buttons and to show you have this problem, you should work on this and stuff. So it also may not be the best interaction, only because of that, because it's actually showing us where our weaknesses are sometimes.
Mirroring.
To become strong about it, mirroring, yeah.
That's the soulmate.
That's the soulmates. Twin flames has this function as well, but on a much, much deeper level, because they just, it's like your mirror, true mirror.
Usually soulmates, it can be replicated by a lot. We have
A lot.
soulmates within the same lifetime, but twin flames is usually more rare.
They're more rare, yes. Soulmates, basically what we refer to as a soul family, you know, the people that are just hanging like us, you know. I mean, why are we not attracting another group of people sitting somewhere else doing something else, and why is it us, right? And that's who we are, and we're going to hang around each other throughout a big part of this life, right? So that is a kind of a soul family, soulmates in a sense. Look what we're doing. We look how we're spending time with each other and sharing.
You said that it triggers something inside of you. So, or it
No, it shows you. It points at things that you need to change and.
Yeah, or we share things to support each other. It's like, okay, I discovered this way that makes it easier or an understanding of what a twin flame, then we share it together, right? You have something to share. We talk about the divine feminine. Like, we are actually supporting each other to understand things and go along this journey to do the mission or the purpose we have, right?
يعني it could be both. مثلا if for example, in order for me to understand it, if مثلا me and my Salma is soulmates, so we share the same things of being مثلا good heart, generous, very spiritual, but at the same time it could trigger something on me so that I can understand it better in myself.
Exactly.
This is, I understand it correctly.
Correct.
Okay.
Yes.
What about chemistry? There is a chemistry between each other.
Yeah.
There is a chemistry. Is it twin flame or soulmate? And I think chemistry, this is the perfect explanation.
Okay, so the chemistry.
There is a chemistry between...
Chemistry can refer to hormones, can refer to actual intimate relationship, yeah? Like someone who would be suitable to be a partner with in life.
So chemistry, when there is a chemistry between two, this goes for the soulmate or the twin flame?
So it is a third category, I would say. When we are saying chemistry, we're referring to some hormonal attraction, right? Or pheromones, if you want to call it that, which then can lead to a marriage or an intimate relationship. That's a third category. Now, one of this can be a soulmate that we feel that with, right? So it can combine. It can combine with a twin flame, although it's super rare, really, when we marry our twin flames. At least in our experience and journey, I don't know that many people who married their twin flame. I'm sure it exists, but it's one of the rare things. It's not as often as a soulmates may be marrying as well.
That's the reason is why the dark forces separate it very much, because it's so much power that they always try to separate and destroy the working together, and you know.
That's right. Yeah.
Yeah, but can I say something?
Yeah.
Actually, just about
just
this,
use the mic. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, actually, just about this experience. Actually, amongst our friends community, even if you remember, like there were a couple, one from Egypt, one from Latin America. They made their wedding, and just as an example. But there are a few incidents where they married, but I think there's this expectation that if you marry your twin flame, it's infinite bliss. And it's not true, because from the stories we know around our friends, actually they separated much faster,
yes.
even than a soulmate. So there is a lot of, I believe, like from actual reality here, I'm not saying an opinion, from the stories around of twin flames union, it has a lot of challenges, and it sometimes ends up with a deeper separation if it is not in the right readiness, you see? And there are actually like 3 or 4 cases around that had that.
Yeah.
And it's very harmful if they are separated without understanding.
It's part of the journey, still more learning, more learning will happen, but the preconceived idea that this should be a more blissful relationship than a soulmate and less challenging, in reality,
it's a myth.
It's
a myth, yeah.
To do with also the state of the frequency of the whatever's happening with the world. As I agree with Isa that basically there are darker forces that are not allowing the twin flames to come together, and especially that we are still on the healing journey. So even though we are still in this room talking about anchoring the divine feminine, so on this journey we are not one unit like in ourselves, because the twin flame is the complete and the utmost mirror, like it's the 360. So are we ready to face our 360 and become it? That's the question.
It needs master.
Maybe it's harder and more rare to see twin flame unions.
Meet and re-meet again?
Of course.
Yeah.
The same person?
We were, in a way, we will address this. Yeah, there is periods of separation with them. I guess whenever there is damage in the society where the yin and yang is not balanced, right? And we don't have the unconditional love being expressed and the compassion and so on. When we interact with a twin flame, most likely they will be mirroring that too, and there will be clashing for sure. But imagine now the twin flames meeting with the unconditional love established and that refinement there. Yes, that's when it probably will be blissful. So would it not be in the best interest of the dark, whoever, these dark things, to maintain the fear and the suspicion and the anger and the survival kind of activity, so that we don't have the unconditional love, and therefore we just have always conflicts, even with the twin flames and the closest expressions of our soul in a way. So I think, it goes back again to this being in a state of unconditional love and breaking away from these control mechanisms that exist. Yeah, I also confirm this. I knew this couple when I was living in Canada. They were like together for 15 years, and you look at them and you say, these are the most amazing people, how lucky. But they were just living together, they were not married. And then finally they decided to get married. They divorced after 6 months. Because it became a condition now. It became condition. There is a contract, there's a legal contract. So it just happened, we witnessed that. We were so shocked about it. Yes.
Okay. I'm curious about this, why they separated.
Taking things for granted now, it's like, okay, now I've got you with a contract, so now I can start behaving differently, expecting the expectation and this kind of thing started to enter into it. Before there was nothing like that. Anyway.
And they have to work through this field also.
And they have to, that's right.
Yeah, because it's only
definitely transformed.
It's a collective field. We have also
transformed once they signed the contract.
Yeah, but yes. Everything is changeable. So you can also be married in a free state in an unconditional way. It's also possible.
That's what we're striving to achieve. Yes, that's correct. It's just the old patterns that exist. If we fall into the same traps, we're going to repeat it because it's a construct that is.
Yeah.
And when twin flames meet, they have the same energy level. Like maybe I'm on a more conscious level than the other person. Well, they have to meet on the same conscious level.
They would complement each other in a way. Like they would. First of all, they will activate each other. So there will be this incredible dynamic by them just meeting. That is, it makes them then more dynamic, more responsive, more interested in doing things. But since they mirror each other, they may have this. They are the same conscious level.
There is no way that you can meet someone as a twin flame, but you are on a higher conscious level or lower conscious level than him.
No, they will be a copy of you, really. I mean, in a way, some of the definitions of it is that it's the same soul, and then it splits into two to enter into this world to fulfill its mission, because it's a bigger mission. And the bigger the mission is, the more actual twin flames can be split, so it can be more than just two, And that's something that people misunderstand sometimes and think that, oh no, there's only one, and if we miss it, then that's it, there's no more. It's not like that. if we are sitting here talking about the planetary evolution and trying to support the planet, well, that's a huge mission. We're not just sitting at home watching TV, right? So a soul like ours here most likely will have more than just two around, because that's a huge mission. So your soul coming here to do this will probably split into 3 or 4 or 5 or whatever. So there's no limit. I mean, those who limit it to just one and that's it is not accurate.
And can I say something? Also, there is the parallel realities. How does this, maybe you can shed light, how does this, that you're saying now, go in concurrence with the idea of the different multiple dimensions, that you can be having a life here, and how many were they, 8 or 9? And having lives on 8 or 9 different dimensional levels. This was also under a hypothesis, under exploration, but there is a lot of information that came about it, that you have parallel realities. So you don't really know, like when you're sleeping or in consciousness, you can be having another life somewhere else, right? So if we put these two ideas together, that makes more sense. That actually you would have so many multiple selves to your one soul. So if there is a twin, then there will be also
multiples of them.
Yes, because there are different dimensional levels. Or you're speaking only of this reality, but this reality is a manifestation. It's a reflection of the essence, and that essence does not necessarily have to be perceived of in this reality, right?
Okay. Yes.
So in that sense, also the multiple twin flames and the multidimensionality of your life experience.
Yeah.
It makes sense this way, no?
Tab, let me respond to this, and then keep it. I have. So yeah, that's interesting. The idea of the multiple parallel worlds or the multiple realities. It's not at the same intensity as this one, because so let's say we are here now. It's like a fractal, and it divides itself. But it's dividing only whenever we make decisions. So let's say now we're carrying on life here, and then we reach a point in our life where we want to now split and do something completely different. We make a different decision to move from one country to another.
Okay.
So we move to another country and start a new life. If there is attachments with other people, like these cords that may exist emotionally, we had relationships, we didn't end it correctly, and there is still a rope there, but then we moved and changed our life somewhere else. That is pretty much a life that still has a bit of an echo carrying on. So that ex-partner that we had an issue with, every time they think of us, they're really psychically linking us back into it, and so on. So that is an aspect of that parallel worlds or universe, but it doesn't have a power of its own. They call it egregor. It's just a power. It's a thought form that got invested in it so much that it has a life of its own, and then the emotional contribution of the people within it keep it alive. That works with a lot of concepts. I mean, communism is an egregor, but so many people put into it things, as an example, all these ideas. So it's an idea that is created. So when you had a relationship in the past, it didn't dissolve properly or end properly, and it has these cords connected with it. It's still hovering there, and it has a life of its own. And every time people get memories of it or thoughts about it or feel sad about it or whatever, they're feeding it energy, so it hangs around. That's
existing in a certain level?
In a certain etheric level.
Yeah. Okay.
So it's a parallel world in that sense. But for it to be, there has been a dispute about this scientifically, that, I exist in 3 or 4 or multiple universes doing multiple lives. It's not like that. However, the twin flame concept is within one world.
One world.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So
But
far that's how it is.
From where you know that this soul can be in multiple parts? I'm not sure about this.
There is physics theories about it. Physics theories that talk about parallel universes or parallel realities. So this came from that discussion.
I mean the twin souls, not the parallel worlds.
Where do we know that twin souls exist?
No.
Is that the question?
from where come this idea that it is more than twin? I mean, twin means two, and why do you know that is
Oh, no,
possible?
no, there is triplet. Yeah, no, there's triplets, there's quadruplets, right? A twin just means it's a copy of it, but it doesn't mean that there are only two. It just means that it's a identical copy. It's twin in that sense, right? So there is sometimes a woman that will give birth to 4 twins or multiple twins, right? They call it. A twin just means it's a copy, but it doesn't mean that there is only 2.
Her question: how can you know there is multiple twins?
Right.
So that I meet this twin,
Yeah.
and then why I will meet another one in another
Good
5 years?
point. Let's go through the presentation because it will explain that, and then we'll respond. We'll continue again. It has to do, just as a appetizer, it has to do with the mission that we have. If we are someone who is just having a small life with a job and a small family and stuff, most likely we may have one only if that's what's needed. But if we're people who are engaged in like huge tasks, like supporting a planetary evolution, then in this case it will be multiple, because the job is so big that it requires really multiple versions of ourselves to support us while we're on that path. Yeah, so it depends on our task.
I'm not sure about this.
It's up. Yeah, that's fine. Let's go through it, and I will then ask you. I will ask you, how do you know that it's only limited to 1 or 2? You know. But anyway, let's go through this, and then we can continue the conversation. Sorry. Yeah, please continue.
Going back to Ranya's question when she was saying, are we going to meet them in the same conscious level or in the same awareness? Yeah, I'm going back to this question because recently I've met people who have told me that you are our twin flame, okay? And I have no memory, no recollection, no feeling, no sensation, nothing. Can it be like that, or are they oblivious?
I think there's with all the new age things and with all the the interest in these spiritual topics, people throw in this anytime they're attracted to someone. Say, "Oh, I met my twin flame," because just they're attracted to someone.
They get visions. They get. They remember stuff from other lifetimes. I have no recollection whatsoever.
But they are telling you that they have visions of you in their life, but you don't.
No, exactly. And we met, and you were so and so, and I was so and so, and you were so and so, and.
There's no proof of that. I think if it is true, you are gonna feel it, and you're gonna recognize it as well. So they will wake it up in you.
That's the thing. So when you meet someone, are you going to be on the same awareness level, or can you be elsewhere and maybe I don't remember yet?
Yeah. We will be at possibly asleep, and they're awake, and they will come and wake us up, right? But then we are gonna wake up right away. Like we are gonna then respond to it and get to that level, because that's what it's about, to get us back, to get us up, to wake up.
You don't go seek a twin flame. You find the twin flame, but then the twins resonate. The denial part can come as a mirror effect because it's too intense and you're in denial. So there could be a denial part on both sides. Sometimes the female, sometimes the male.
Okay.
But you deny something that is really exists. يعني the way that I am connected. يعني really مثلا the way that I see you very familiar to me. Yes, I can deny it, but it exists in my feelings. But if I didn't feel anything, then
if you didn't feel anything,
this is not a twin flame.
You have to resonate.
But if this is what comes to my head. If, for example, if I'm a person on a conscious level, I'm on a materialistic style, and I meet my twin flame, and he also in a higher conscious level. This is not possible, right?
I really think from all the indicators and from all the experiences that have been recorded about this, that we will only attract our twin flame when we are ready to attract that. Now we will attract a lot of soulmates, and they will come and kick us and push us and do stuff to get us awake and so on. That is going to happen whether we like it or not. It's like that. But the twin flame specifically really we have to reach a certain level to connect, because it's beyond waking each other. It's beyond the, you know, just the small things that.
You see how you connected to someone.
Yeah, because it's just going to move you into that ascension level, or into this, you know,
that's
higher soul purpose level, as opposed to the life and how to manage life in a way.
Yeah.
So the twin flame is really to get into the ascension together and pull each other there. So by that time, we both will be at a level then to appreciate that. Yeah. Yes.
Slide number 1.
Quite it's good that we saved half hour, because
We are all women, so this
it's
is
a hot
our
it's a hot topic.
number
Yeah.
Hot topic and you want it in 1 hour? How?
We were hoping to go home sooner. Huh?
Is it possible after you get separated from your twin flame that you both of you will be on different spiritual and conscious levels? I mean, is it possible that that you will not in this life you will not be together again because you are both in two different paths?
That's an important point. We are going to go into it. There's periods of separation with our twin flames as well. So it's not like we're always going to be together. It's kind of like there's a huge task, so we divide it. You take part of it and do it, and I will take part and go and do it. And in the case of multiples, there's a third one that's going to take another part and go and do it. And we're doing, all of us trying to achieve the purpose that one soul is supposed to do. But we can't. We're not a Jesus. We're not a goddess of some sort to come and do everything as one. So it splits into multiple bodies or human figures. Divide the job between them and then separate and go and do it. But at the end, it's the same soul anyway. You know, that's the understanding. Yeah. So.
Yeah, so I was saying, I will link the two comments. First, that I think this, what Akmal was explaining at the beginning, this like yearning or imagining it's the perfect relationship, or you know how it's going to be. I think it's more in all of us inherently towards a yearning towards our inner self. And we need to reflect on intellectual level that on another person. So when we find another person with a lot of similarities, we like to engage in thought that this is that person, using even that person on intellect level as a mirror for us, because even in friendships, we feel intimacy and connection always so much like me, you know, we like familiarity. Human beings, Homo sapiens, by nature, they like familiarity, the pack, you know, it's like me, she's like me, he's like me. And we form a bond based on similarities, not on differences. In soulmate relationships, that's the second part. It comes out as an annoying, really, really annoying thing. From personal experience, like really annoying. Because it's this kind of, you know, interaction of triggers in order to learn something and reflect something and so on. But it's teaching us something also about ourselves always. But I feel the difference is, it's like if you're dealing with another person, that's how I see it, or with yourself. With the soulmate, you're dealing with an other who is having a role, and even with the unconditional love. But I mean, people are different and there's variety, and somehow we need to learn this tolerance and how to accommodate each other, right? So that's but with the twin flame, I feel it's more, really, it's like you ultimately love yourself and you ultimately have peace with yourself. You know, you'll be dead if you're in deep, if you are at the deepest conflict. You cannot have aliveness, right? Scientifically, correct me if I'm wrong. You cannot have a sense of aliveness. You'll be in deep trouble, like really troubled, or go into mental trouble. So, whatever we are, we as a human, you know, like average existing human, we love ourselves actually, and we are at peace with ourselves, and that's why we can sleep at night. Otherwise, you cannot sleep at night because you sleep in your own self, right? In your consciousness. So I think it's this kind of thing. So when even if there are like lessons and triggers and like differences, because we are personalities and different people, but it's really much more harmonious and peaceful, and it's more of a self-reflection.
In a twin flame?
Than struggling with another, exactly. It's more of a self-reflection, like, okay, yeah, okay, great, so where is this in me, and then how is it in me that way? Okay, so okay, I do that also.
No,
you know, so it's interesting.
What's the difference? You mean that soulmates and twin flames are, they trigger you in order to challenge yourself?
Okay, I'll give you the example very simply. Like if you have a thought in your head in the kitchen doing something, and you say, you know, I keep doing this and my kids are, for example, telling me, or somebody, my mom is telling me something, and then you're reflecting with yourself. And this reflection, this idea of reflection, is like reflecting with yourself, but apply it as an interaction with another, with a friend or the twin, okay? But with the soulmate, it's like when you really get upset and you're like, no, I don't like this at all. You know, I'm triggered by this. It moves something emotionally in you that is not just a reflection of reflecting to see أنا عملت كده مش لازم كنت أعمل كده صحيح هو أنت بتعملي إيه.
It's identifying an area that needs to be developed further. Yeah, a weak point in a way.
And it's very harmonious because it's you and you talking.
Yeah.
It's you and you seeing it through another. So it doesn't go in that area where it's a very like conflictual trigger of emotions. That's how I feel the difference.
Yeah.
يعني خناقة مع صاحبتي أو خناقة مع نفسي.
Yeah, for example, if I'm with a soulmate, okay, and he triggered me because he is very egoistic, for example. So this is a soulmate because it triggered me on a like you feel like you're saying on a conscious level. I understand he's an egoistic and he triggered me because he is so selfish.
Yes.
But on a twin flame, I will feel different. I will feel that
I think there's essential forgiveness in it anyway.
أنا كمان.
I'm thinking about it, but not with anger. There is a kind of like a forgiveness that is there anyway.
Yeah.
Okay, so it feel like okay, I'm irritated. I will not feel like this, but I will feel like okay, I'm irritated because he's a little bit selfish, but I'm okay with his selfishness.
No,
so I reflect to
see the selfishness in you first. If you think, okay, and you will not be irritated. You will really be feeling that, okay, you know, this is, you're really not irritated. Different reflection. The action or the vibration or the frequency, let's say anger. So there is anger, but you will see the anger, you will not think of the person as bad because he's angry. It is not reflected this way. I feel this is how you receive it.
You will feel like it's an anger because of a reason. Let me understand why he's angry.
And you will immediately feel that okay, when anger comes up in me, it's okay. So this is how it's mirroring in a nice way, like your therapist showing you what's happening.
Okay, this
like,
is with a twin flame.
If it's like if I get triggered by that, it means I have something that needs to be worked on. And so they will show the certain things that will trigger you and you get upset, then this means that there's something to work on it there. Otherwise you won't be triggered, right? Yeah. So that's one thing. And I think the second thing about this is really I experienced it. So let's say that we have a big area to clear up inside of us, whatever the trauma was, right? And you cannot just get this done in one shot because it's so huge. So you're gonna come across some soulmate, possibly, at some point, to prepare you for another soulmate that's gonna just kick your ass, really, you know. And they did it in a gentle way just to get you really get the juices flowing and get you really to figure it out. And then you're gonna meet the real situation after that. But then now you're ready to deal with it partially. You're gonna be thrown against the wall, but still, you now took a few steps and you're ready to handle it, and hopefully you recover, but then you're just going to become something completely different then. And when you do that, then you're probably going to meet your twin flame at this point then to carry on the purpose.
I'm sorry, if I'm elevated to this extent that I'm now ready to meet my twin flame, why this is not ending with marriage? And you say that it's marriage.
No, just because they may be married already. You know, the twin flame could be actually with a family and married and everything.
I read that usually twin flames, you will never, it's very hard that you get together in the end.
Why?
Maybe.
a very visible visual example. إنه
with the twin flame, it's as if you're looking in the mirror and you realize that, oh, I have this pimple, for example. But with the other people, it is just like someone pointing out for you, and you see in them, oh, he's having a pimple like the one you see, but it's the other one is just the mirror.
Yeah.
So it's just the reflection that you see. It's you. He is you.
Yeah.
Can I ask something?
Yes, please.
Thank you.
Yes.
Is it also, I
Please.
think I read before that we are reincarnated sometimes in purpose in a different time frame, so we don't meet each other. Is that also true? What is your opinion about that? That's it. Yeah.
Okay, so like if we're reincarnated in different times, we may miss them in another life. You mean like that? Like they would be in a
Or in the
previous one, but
same
now we're
life,
in
but
another one?
yeah, no, same lifetime but different time age, like more of a distance. That I think I read that on Cobra's blog, I think. Yeah. Distance between ages, like a bigger distance or stuff like that, so
Like
we don't
historically,
meet.
like historically.
No, just like
Right,
could
like
be
in
like
different
20 years difference or
age.
yeah.
Oh, you mean age different?
Yes,
Like
yes.
that, or like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, it can.
Yeah.
It can be. It can be like that, sure. But again, there's one thing we need to remember. It's not only one, and if we miss it, it's gone. I think that is an area of discussion. There is a myth that it's only one, and if it's gone, then we lost it and it's over. That's not from
We
the knowledge that
cannot
is.
lost our twin flame.
No, it means that we may not meet them, and people worry that we lost the opportunity, we won't find them again because it's only one and it's gone.
But
that is where the issue
the
is.
twin flames are always one.
What do you mean by one?
By one, I mean there is no separation in a higher level. So you are always one. You cannot.
No, it's understood. It's understood, but when you're meeting them in the real life, in the physical realm, right? And they are, let's say, in another country, and you didn't meet them, right? Or they're married and they have other situations, or we did not really learn our lessons with our soulmates, so we didn't reach a level where we can meet them. People worry that, okay, it's gone, we won't find them ever again. That's the in this world. I mean, obviously, actually, it's your soul splitting into two, so you're always the same, right?
Yes. So you, even when you cannot be together, you are one. And you can always connect. When you are connected to your higher self, you are connected to your twin flame. You are
right.
one. So you cannot.
But what we're talking here really about meeting them physically and interacting with them, as opposed to the virtual relationship that we know we have, right? I agree with you, it's exactly true. But we are now talking about when we meet physically and when we're going to interact physically, and especially when people interpret it as a potential romantic thing, the perfect romance, and they are worried that they may not find it. So we are addressing
then it is like it is. Then it is like it is. When you cannot be together, then you cannot be together on this level.
Then it means that our task is so small that we don't need a twin to help us move further. Then our task in life became very small, because the way we would meet our twin flame, or we will even split into two, it means that really our task in life is so big, we need two people to divide the task among two aspects of our soul, right? Yes. So if we really don't have one and we don't meet it, it means that our job is so small. We are just simple people coming as a farmer doing something and then watching TV and get drunk and die.
No,
right?
I mean, it's also possible to work together even when when you don't have this relationship like romantic or friendship. Still, the twin flames are working together. They are.
Yes.
And it's good in a consciousness
and
way.
we can refer to it as an inspiration, as a guardian angel, as some channeling of some sort. It's possible, yes. If we are in that spiritual vibration, right? But again, if we are not, and if our life is really just a simple one, then we don't talk about it's not valid. Exactly. So yeah, we agree.
We agree. Yeah.
We agree. Okay, good.
But twin flames are usually the ones who are, I mean, twin flames are coded with unconditional love. Like this is the big mission, is to actually and spread this unconditional love.
Yes.
and also learn it through the journey of separation with the twin.
Yes.
It's this and also this union with God, which is basically the union of the inner feminine, inner masculine, is basically the union of the twin flames on the physical. And so that's because
big mission.
Happen. Yeah. Big mission, yes.
Yes.
Okay.
Biggest.
Great. Yes. Thank you. So let's continue. Very true. Absolutely.
Fears and wounds on a collective. We more working
like
on
archetypes,
collective.
like an archetypal
Yes.
level.
Yes.
So we grew up in some abusive Catholic school, let's say.
Or in Switzerland.
From experience.
Or in Switzerland.
or you grow up in Switzerland, that's right. So there is a lot of recovery there, right? Exactly. Yes, exactly. So this is the type of healing now, but it's not an emotional thing, it's more now on a really deep soul level. Yeah?
Something? In that regard, also the traumas may come because the idea is that they've been one spirit infinitely and throughout time, one soul. And then there were maybe multiple lifetimes of an experience of them splitting into two and encountering each other, regardless of gender, of course, maybe matching different genders or whatever. But that's also a possibility, right? Mm-hmm. So do they come and carry the trauma of their history together?
No.
They would not carry it like a soulmate, right?
Apparently, this concept of getting a trauma from a past
no, not from each other. I mean,
no, our past life
they went through together.
There is a debate about this. There is another clarification for the concept of, do we carry trauma from a previous life and come to work it out here? And it seems like no. It seems like we don't get, for instance, the ancestral stuff. For instance,
ancestral. I mean, on your soul level. What you carry in your own soul signature, no, I agree with the ancestral debate.
Apparently, it seems
but
like
you yourself.
No. It seems like every life is we're born fresh, new. We are not carrying over something. That is a misunderstanding that came from certain cultures, like let's say the Vedic culture, the Hindu culture. After it went into this corrupted state where you have these untouchables and
No, but there's a lot of data that appears in hypnosis sessions that proves that. I mean, this is Dolores Cannon's body of knowledge, regardless of the Vedas and the Buddhists, because this is an accurate channeling.
But these are genetic codes. These are genetic memories.
That's what I mean, in genetic memory.
Yeah, but it is not a trauma. Like, I'm not traumatized by the fact that I had an extraterrestrial life. Let's say that I uncovered through a regression. It's not a trauma anymore, but it's a memory, right? It seems that a lifetime that ended up with a death or ascension or whatever you want to call it, like passing over, it's complete in this way, and it's judged already, and it's paid for it, and everything is balanced this way. And then when it comes back, by the way, again, there's a debate between whether it's called reincarnation or resurrection. There is a very important distinction between them. And it seems like we are resurrecting, but it's the same soul as opposed to...
What means resurrecting?
Resurrect is like Christ dying on the cross and coming back after 3 days. It's the same one. It's not an animal. It's not going into a rock. It's the same soul, just coming up with a new body, but it's the same one. Yeah, as opposed to a brand new experience completely and start again. And if you didn't learn the lesson, you come back again in a lower level. This is a convenience that apparently it seems like in the culture in India that had this separation between the untouchable ones and the high ones, they created it just to tell the poor guys, guys, you're poor because you used to be jerks in a previous life and now you're paying the price for it. So just shut up and accept it. In a way, it's meant like that. That's why reincarnation concept was introduced, but actually it's a resurrection. That's why the ancient Egyptians always talk about resurrection, not reincarnation.
Right.
Christ always talks about resurrection in that concept as opposed to reincarnation. There is no reincarnation in these traditions.
Yes, thank you for that, but let me reframe it. It's not, if what I'm referring to is in the twin flame connection found in this lifetime,
yes,
would they carry information
they
from
would, yeah,
past life encounters, not necessarily on this earth, like we carry memories of Atlantis.
Absolutely.
Or like we carry,
because we,
so on cosmic level, I'm not even meaning
yes,
on the manifested level on this earth.
Yeah.
But if, for example, Atlantis disintegrated and traumatic, I don't know, some civilization, and we went through, me as a soul went through this experience maybe before splitting. Okay? I'm taking it a little, well, and then we split, and then I come and you come, and we have this memory of the trauma.
That is right. That is right. But actually, if we look, yeah, exactly. So about an experience in Atlantis, let's say, that would be a resurrection after that. So we existed in Atlantis, and then now we're here carrying on a specific mission to upgrade this, to evolve this planet to reach a certain dimensional evolution, let's say.
Like Atlantis, so not Atlantis.
As an example, yes.
Before manifesting, that's my question. Before manifesting as humans.
Yes.
Before manifesting in a human life.
As well.
Is there anything that shows us, that's why I'm not, is there anything or any body of knowledge on that shows us that the soul then comes encoded with what it experienced as a soul in the cosmos, in one of the realms?
That's what get uncovered with sessions like Dolores Cannon's regression.
That's what I'm asking.
But that is a soul memory, or these are genetic memories that are carried over, and we can tap into them and understand that yes, we had lifetimes in other periods or other parts of or other planets even, you know.
Exactly, that's what I'm referring to. And if you remember, like a lifetime in another planet or some...
That's right.
Or a mission, because we are on a mission together, right? So you remember that.
Correct.
Then, what role does this function or factor in? How does it factor in within that connection? That's my question.
Within our connection with ourselves, it's our own information to understand that we had a role to play for over millennia, let's say, and we had these resurrections and tasks to do, right? As a soul, as opposed to just being a brand new soul that just came, a couple of once in this life, and this is the first.
Same kind of like resonance or calculators that show that then this is really why you're coming back together for this mission again, because of that kind of common...
There is a capacity, There is a soul that has a capacity to perform a specific mission, if you want to call it, or a purpose. And there is if you want to look at civilizations and how they grade civilization number type 1, type 2, and so on, there are civilizations that are planetary level, there's civilizations that are galactic level, there are civilizations that are solar system level, right?
Yeah, exactly.
So you can actually be building a moon, like you may be in a civilization where you were entrusted a planet and you are just managing that, right? As an example. These types of maybe some of us were something like that. We don't, and that's the kind of thing. So, and now we're here to support this one to do something. As an example, you know.
Yeah.
These are all possibilities. So therefore, that capacity of that being that's involved in building a planet before and here is now doing something, naturally they will have more than one twin flame. Because the scale and the scope requires, to fit into a physical body with a soul this huge, it just cannot be done. The physical 3D body will not handle a soul of that size. Unless you become then an archangel or something and show up in a different figure. But it's, you know what I mean. If you're taking and being embodied in a physical way, most likely you will have to split into 2 or 3 souls. Or there's another phenomena, which is a big soul wants to come in a physical body, but you're born as a baby. And that little thing cannot handle that huge soul. So you're born with, let's say, 1/4 of that capacity, right? And that baby will start growing and growing, and then they reach the age of 5 or 8 or something. They will almost get into a near-death experience, and then the second part of the soul kicks in. And that's what they call walk in sometimes, although the walking can be a parasitic thing as well. But actually it's another aspect of the soul that can enter at that moment, because that's the gateway when in a near death.
In a near-death experience, because I've had that.
Yeah.
My awakening was in a near-death experience.
There you go. So now you got that extra part of the soul now that can move you through, because the baby or the fetus cannot handle the full scale of the soul.
So you take your soul in parts.
Yeah. And you may have 2 or 3 of these in life, you know. And I'm speaking from experience as well.
There's also an explanation about when we're talking about incarnation and then soul, and then there's a higher level of the monad and a higher level of the avatar. So it's frequency stages. So as an incarnate, we're at a certain frequency, then the soul, the monad, and the avatar. The avatar holds that trinity of the source. And then they speak about the monads, the oversoul matrix, and how that the oversoul is there. Then it contains souls within the oversouls. And then the monadic is there, and there's extensions of the oversouls. And then that frequency of that essence expands into a consciousness body. And that's how this is possible for the various incarnations at the various frequency levels.
You talk about the collective at this point, right? Not in the earth.
Yes, and it can be divided into different souls, like the soul matrix, into the different various sections. So you have the higher extension of the consciousness and the intelligence of the source, and then it's divided into the monad and the matrix and the triad, which speaks about the blueprint of life itself. But it is an extension of a soul matrix of incarnations in different frequency levels.
Okay, yeah, that's one way of looking at it. But let's replace reincarnation with resurrection then.
Yes.
Akmal, this is what I missed. What's the difference between reincarnation and resurrection?
Reincarnation is coming back to pay for something that we did wrong before, so we come back in an inferior level, let's say, or we reincarnate here and we did something wrong, so now we're coming back to pay for it. It's this kind of recycling, and you can keep punishment almost as well. But the resurrection is the same soul appearing in different times in history, being born in different times of history to carry on a specific soul mission that is extending across thousands of years, potentially, you know. So resurrection is similar to the ancient Egyptians when they talk about a resurrection. Osiris being resurrected, Christ being resurrected. It's going and coming back, and coming back in a different way. Maybe El Khidr is a resurrection of the same soul, right? This type of thing. As opposed to being punished and coming back inferior to where you were before or something like this, which is...
Okay, and same concept, but just a different kind of reason. One is to be punished, one is to keep going with your mission.
Exactly, yes. Yeah.
Okay, but when you don't believe that the soul comes back with the traumas of the past life, well, again, it will take me back to the same concept of family constellation, of how when I went for the natal chart or the astrological chart, and from the south node going to the north node or vice versa, I forgot, you come from traumas. There are traumas in the past lives that come, and this is why in whatever current lifetime we have to sort these things out so that we can evolve, so to say, or so that we can keep going with our mission. You know what I mean? But you don't come clean. You come with residues.
Yeah, there is a disagreement with this concept. We come clean. Anytime we are here, it's a new resurrection. We've fulfilled something. If there is a judgment of any type, it's done already, and we're cleared it up. Now, we may have a memory of something, or there could be ancestral stuff. Let's say a grandparent somewhere along the genetic line that went through a trauma, as an example. And we go through a regression and we recollect that piece of information. But it's not necessarily our trauma. However, it gets reinforced by our family always talking about that grandparent that suffered and all this thing and stuff. So we already got emotionally charged with that trauma and we got entangled with it emotionally. But it's really not our soul's trauma, right? It's a memory of someone else.
It's not usually ours, but we usually don't know about it. Hence, we do the family constellation to know about things that we have no awareness of whatsoever. And we come to realize stuff that we did not realize. We don't have any memory, and nobody in the family knew about it.
Right. If that is the case, and the code itself exists inside of us potentially as a epigenetic, they call it. It's the information that keeps moving down the genetic line with families. If there is a traumatic event that passed down, does it have an influence on us in our behavior? Or is it just because we became aware of it after we did a family constellation and somebody told us about it? Or is it because our grandmother keeps talking about it and we since our childhood, got programmed that this is an issue, right? So all these are possibilities, right? But the point is that it seems to be clear is that when we're born here, it's really a reset. It's brand new. We don't have a trauma. The trauma will come either through having a grandparent telling us about a trauma that somebody had, or a family constellation session, and suddenly somebody confronts us with some information that is shocking to us, and now we need to clear it up. These are, what seems to be really clear is that we come in a reset, clear way, and all the potential programming happens to us in this life. However, if we resurrected and we had a life in Atlantis, let's say, and we witnessed the destruction and damage, and we're carrying on a path in life here, oh, absolutely, we're going to be triggered when we watch a movie with a flood or something, because that is a trauma we had, and we are here now to try to fix that in a way to support this planet to evolve. So that is different. That is not like we're reincarnating with the trauma. It's much that it's part of our mission now to come and make sure that this doesn't happen again, this kind of destruction, as an example.
But you don't believe that we carry things from our parents?
No, it doesn't seem. No, we carry things from our parent when we are living with our parent and they keep reminding us with it. It already got ingrained in us.
In my mother womb, maybe there is something happened.
Oh, there is? Oh, yeah.
I can carry this.
Absolutely,
but I don't carry from my grandmother.
No.
I carry it from my mom, this is for sure.
If the mother is and this is proven scientifically, if the mother is watching a movie that is that had
an accident, for example.
As an example, but even more than this, if a mother is sitting watching a movie and there is an argument between a man and a woman, and the stress, the adrenaline is being triggered because she's watching that drama and she's interacting with it, the fetus is feeling that the mother is having a trauma.
And if she cried.
Or if she cried or something, exactly. So it will not be able.
I can carry it.
You witnessed the trauma with your mother at that point, but it will be registered and it can be cleared up with emotional work and so on. But this is an emotional issue, not a past life issue at this point. It's still within this life. Does that make sense?
But also that, Akmal, it's also because it's the seeking. I honestly meet it with a lot of friends and like clients and so on. It really became the trend of just hanging your life on meeting that twin flame. Yeah. And it's okay, maybe, accepting on, maybe it's part of the mission of the person or their journey to work on themselves through that. But in some cases, it crosses the boundary, the borderline of sanity. And it puts us in this illusion, like I've seen some cases, where you're building so many illusions, and really wasting life force energy instead of, so it defies the purpose. Yeah. What you're saying, focusing on spiritual growth and nurturing the inner self in order for that to happen anyway, even if that's the objective, you see? So I agree completely. It's becoming more of a like very superficial, illusory level rather than the core essence, which is important.
The true meaning of it, yeah.
And even in some cases, in some instances, I believe, for example, Rumi and Shams were actually twin flames. But one was embodying the divine feminine archetype, and the other one was the divine masculine archetype. And they are both men.
That's right. Yeah.
So you can have same gender twin flames.
That's right. Yeah.
So that in that case, it's not always romantic. Because
So one more thing as well, which is now a trend. There is a trend as well that when people, excited people or excitable people, they meet each other and they fall in love, they say, wow, I met already my twin flame, and it becomes a projection on just a normal romantic thing. And they think this is it because it's just love and fantastic and exciting. How do you tell the difference between a twin flame and you just fall madly in love with someone romantically? And that's part of the confusion that exists today. The difference is in that spiritual purpose, as opposed to just having this incredible chemistry and hormonal volcanoes going on and stuff.
But I
No judgment,
No judgment. No. It's just general examples, nothing specific.
the conscious of the purpose of the relation of twin flame. When I met him and we were separated, if I had the conscious of what this whole thing, I would have saved myself a lot of years of pain, and I would have worked, and all these years I would have worked on myself, on my personal growth, than just being in pain and crying.
Yeah.
If I had the conscious of this spiritual purpose
Dimension,
of
yeah.
it,
Yeah, exactly.
So I think people, it should be more exposed in this.
Shared more and understood more, yeah. It is about how now traditional falling in love naturally, normally in a normal relationship, many people interpret that as, wow, I've met my twin flame already. But then it ends up being just that excitement of meeting someone, but it's not a twin flame. The twin flame, you really want to know what it feels like? It's like it comes with this, what is referred to as a soul merge. When you meet that person, it's like you're talking to yourself. You're so close that you could be on the other side of the planet, and when you think of them, you're really literally seeing them that close, and you're feeling them, and you can telepathy, if you want to call it that. They could be going through something, and you will feel what they're going through. It is absolutely different from any of the normal romantic things.
Yes.
It has that dimension of unity of the soul itself is really at some point connected, and your connection is not on the second chakra or the third, even the heart and so on, but it's probably crown and above.
Yes, that's true.
Yeah.
Can we be connected with someone who died?
Oh, we can be connected with those who died, but you mean a twin flame that would have died? Probably, but at that point they can be labeled an angelic thing or whatever. I mean, yes, and that is always possible because
when I think of my husband, I see like something coming in front of me. So
yeah.
But you lived together 10 years.
Yeah.
Okay.
Term.
Yes, go ahead.
Term karmic partner, that doesn't exist at all, or should we pay any attention to that? Like they say, there are usually it's something similar to soulmate, but it's more like kind of negative.
Well, I think there is such a thing. Yeah.
Yeah.
Again, it's someone who is coming and really pushing just all the painful buttons only.
Yes. Okay.
So that will be it. And it can, there's people we meet, it's just a horrible thing, but it wakes us up so much as well, right?
But
because
when you evolve, they just disappear.
Exactly. So that's a good name for it. Yeah, karmic mate. Karmic mate.
Yes.
Yes. So for the 10th time, By the way, this is my thing. It has nothing to do with anything. Yeah. It's my. I'm clearing up some stuff, recent stuff, anyway.
Are you afraid it could be?
You know, right? Isa, you know. We just came
Yeah.
on. So this.
You don't have to be afraid.
Say again?
You don't have to be afraid.
I am not afraid.
Okay.
No, it's not fear. It is actually, no, it is for the poor people that express the wrong thing and they get a reaction that is not very pleasant.
It's
and then
very necessary
but
to
I'm not
clear
afraid.
this. Yeah, it's very necessary to clear this because a lot of people are crazy about it.
Absolutely. Yeah. And we meet it a lot, so that's why it's really important to clarify.
I will share with you a story to make you feel better.
Thank you.
I just had a session with somebody last week, actually, and I found myself saying this. I said, listen, do you know how many men I meet who I see a shared story or soul story or something? Does this mean I'm going to marry them all? Or engage in a romantic with them all? Yeah. No, really. I mean, we go through spiritual experiences when we had an experience. There was a scent. Actually, the very deep scent. Sue was sharing the. So we had this, and it takes you. It's essential oil, and it takes you on a very deep soul journey instantly. And I saw an image of somebody, and I saw like a soul story. I saw it. It's a reality. But for me, this person means nothing. So this is how you can distinguish, differentiate, okay, I saw maybe a specter of a certain story that happened at a certain, but in this time and day, we're not connected. We're not romantic partners. We're not going to be romantic partners. There is no potential for that evolving. But that I was sharing with a friend of mine who's always struggling actually with finding, he's a male, so he's always finding actually on the, like, a story, a twin story. This is my twin. Until now, he counted to me 10 twins. So I was obliged to share and say, yes, it's not only one, but not every 3 weeks you meet a twin. And do you know how many soul stories can appear to you, especially if you're active and you're doing meditations?
Do you know how many twin flames
can appear to you?
When you're drunk in a bar? How many?
That also. But yeah, you were standing now. We're not talking about drunkenness and bars. We're talking about generally. But even in a spiritual setting, you can have a story. It does not mean. So somebody was asking also how many people come and tell you I'm your twin. Maybe she's online Malak. I think she was saying that. Yeah. So it doesn't mean also that you feel a spiritual connection, that this is your twin flame, and or that this means we have to be romantic partners. We cannot marry 100 people, we cannot do that.
It's very true, yeah. It also...
But you can. That's not the right feeling. And when you feel not complete without the other, so you did not master yourself.
Exactly. But people think that if they don't meet their twin flame, that's why they're incomplete, not because they have to connect with their
That's not true. That's not true.
What is true then?
True is that you can be also one in yourself, and then one with the twin flame is another. But it's when both are one with themselves, and then they come together. Then it's a very huge power. Yes. But I can be one without my twin flame also.
And that's what this means. This means that I think you misunderstood what this means. Some people walk around without pursuing completing themselves and being one with their higher self, complaining that if I meet my twin flame, then I will be complete. I'm just telling you this is how people see it. I'm not saying that this is how it should be.
Yeah. That's not true,
And that's the misunderstanding that we are clarifying now.
Yeah.
That this is not the proper way to think that the twin flame will complete us. No, your higher self, it will complete you.
Yeah,
right? And then you will attract the twin flame, that then you will have a wonderful interaction with them. Yeah. So yeah, it's exactly like that. Yeah, it's a big topic.
Especially with women.
That's with
No, I would say with everybody.
with spiritual people
Generally,
usually, I would say
spiritual people and with with the idea that this topic is really a trend. So
It became a
even
trend,
the
yeah.
trend I was referring to and others, they hear about it and they're seeking it, you know.
And then there's
Men and
businesses.
women.
There's businesses
No,
about
it
it
so
as well.
happens with women, but men and women,
Yeah.
and there are businesses about it.
And there's business about it. I'll tell you something. You and I right now, and among our dear friends here, we are actually trying to rationalize it logically.
Yeah.
And it is something that we will probably find out once we move beyond the 3D and truly see it. So it's not a disagreement as much as it is really, we're just trying to reach terms into what is it? Are we wasting our life behind
Fantasy.
fantasy or behind an expectation.
Expectation.
This is the idea.
Yes.
It creates another level of expectation.
Exactly. And the disappointment that we have witnessed with many friends or many clients that we counsel when they're depressed because they think that they lost the only soulmate that they think it is, which most likely they weren't a twin flame anyway. You know, it is such a confusing issue right now. And people are wasting a lot of their spiritual potential waiting for something that they understand in a wrong way.
Yeah.
Yes, exactly. That's my concern.
It's very sad.
It is sad, and I think that's the whole issue here.
But we cannot change concepts because of this, you know?
We cannot what, sorry?
We cannot change concepts because of this.
Well,
You know?
there is concepts that have been constructed that are not pure and they're not the
Yes.
truth as
We
well.
have to
So
find
the
out.
idea that it's only two can be one of these concepts that have been
Can.
thrown in from the dark to make people feel desperate that I lost it, I'm dead. That's also
It's
potential.
still self verantwortung, responsibility to go on
Exactly.
and grow. That will
Exactly.
always be like this. Always.
And
1,
exactly.
2, 3, 4.
Exactly.
It doesn't matter. You
Very
cannot
true.
give this away.
At the end of the day, it's the connection with our higher self,
Yes.
which is really oneness
Yes.
with the source
Yes.
that matters. And then whatever branches exist that we're going to meet
And
would
and
be
when
a
you are
bonus,
one,
would be an extra thing. Yeah.
and when we are one, we are also one with the twin flames. Punkt. If he's here or not.
Is it possible that we fall in love or marry someone who is not our soulmate or our twin?
All the time.
Yes.
And that's why we're
The
divorced.
most. The most of the marriage.
Maybe it's easier.
You know,
What a job, you know. What a world.
You
Yes.
know, I want to add something also. That I see a parallel in this kind of what we are saying and what we are concerned about to really verify and clarify about this twin flame journey is very similar to even what happens in seeking the divine, seeking oneness. But then taking this on a very fanatic kind of, direction. And then thinking that my whole existence, it can even lead to madness in certain cases. My whole existence will just disintegrate. And this is because we are still, I feel, this is the bottom line, seeking this. Of course, yes, we're doing a lot of spiritual and energy work, but still through intellect. We want to have an understanding. But these are things that are not to be understood.
Yes.
So all the concepts are great, and the words and terminology to try to discern and to give form to something. But I feel that it's really like this. The only measure, like in seeking the divine and oneness with God, it is about discerning it exactly, and but knowing also the differentiation between emotion and feeling, knowing also the differentiation between truth, and that this can be just emotionally driven thing for me to achieve something.
Yes.
But the real oneness with the divine is not about achieving anything. It's not about doing. It's not about achieving. It's not about getting somewhere.
Yes.
So it is very similar, and that's why in this sacredness of this union, it cannot be taken or treated in this manner. But that's because of the marketing and the intellectualization of so much jargon and so much knowledge, but of different, let's say, like levels and grades that came out recently.
Yeah.
That's true.
And then
I
also,
agree.
Yeah, I love that because I feel like we're again trying to think about it, and then create standards, and this is not really how the universe works. I think the only person who can really know that this is their twin is the person himself, and it's through the heart.
Yes.
And the purification of the heart, and it's a journey. It could be that you are in an illusion, and you will find that out later, and that's also part of the journey.
Right. But the purpose of this conversation
Is to enlighten us
is to not waste our life and the spiritual energy about concepts that really got commercialized or got misunderstood or were actually also disinformation was thrown into it. You know, the Theosophical Society, as an example, that explained a lot of this stuff at the beginning of the century, had 80% truth and 20% stuff thrown in there to direct people in different directions. That now it's been popularized by the New Age stuff, 80s, 90s and stuff. And now it's super popular, and a lot of it is wrong.
Yeah, that's
a lot of gurus from India with the Beatles and stuff, with some satanic stuff got thrown around the rock culture and things. And it's popular now, and it's what mainstream New Age spirituality contains. Quite 20% of it at least is damaged. So we are here really to try to get back to something, to an understanding at least, that we're not wasting our life behind some Sarabiani mirage, yeah. It's that, you know. So we're just trying to reach some clarity. Not that we don't want to fall into a hole and try to climb on it to discover that we were in a hole. I think we're just trying to avoid the holes and move on to get our mission.
Yes.
Time is moving quick. The planet is really, accelerating. It would be like an understatement. Look at Spain, what happened in it. So, yeah.
What would be the purpose of a romantic relationship?
A lot of hormonal stuff, a lot of physiological stuff, a lot of energetic things. Of course, the only time as the soul experiences the divine is through an orgasm, as an example, right? That's the closest to the unity that existed. It lasts 30 seconds, 100 seconds, whatever it is. But that's it. So that's why it's important. And of course, the energetics of it is so important. The health benefits of it. There's so much. And it's part of the 3D reality. Now, does it exist in 5D sexuality? Or romance? That's a question. You know, is it only a property of the third dimensional world?
No.
Sex? So fifth dimensional angelic beings would have kids and procreate in a sexual manner there, or only when they land on Earth that they may have a relationship like that? What do you think?
It's about oneness, and oneness is also possible in the fifth and sixth and seventh and eighth.
And if you don't have a physical body, how are you going to have sex, right?
Not sex. I'm not talking.
We were talking about now sex actually and romance. That was the question. So
but romance, love can also be deep, getting in one without that body connects in a sexual way.
True, but we were talking about 3D.
Okay.
That specific issue here, yeah.
Okay. Romantic or marriage connections, you know, or
marriage,
relationships.
Sexuality and so on requires a physiology, a body to do it. If somebody is born as a hermaphrodite with both sexual organs functioning, they can clone themselves, which some worms do it, and some hermaphroditic humans. Rare now, but they used to exist. That's a different function, right? And they existed at a previous age of the five ages of the planet, right? Oh. They were that concept. Then they split into male and female and stuff like that. So anyway, it's a whole... It's a strange planet, you know. It's just
why we have to put to separate the 3D and the holiness of the 5D? Why we have to separate this? For how I see it, we bring in this also in 3D or in this. It is not separated. it can be that most time, like when you live just in 3D, you are in 3D, but the other way is to bring in the holy, the divine, really down here in this life, in this physical life.
Of course, that's true. Yeah, but that we were talking just about the romance and the physical contact within a 3D world. Is it necessary? And I think that's what we were talking about.
Yes.
But as far as rising up and uniting with our higher self and integrating that within this world, well, guess what? When we do that, and when many people do that, the whole planet is going to be shifting to 5D anyway. There won't be something called 3D.
And then this is all away, you mean? That's the goal to...
That is the split that's going to happen, and that 3D will remain with a bunch of people who want to still continue fighting and killing and raping and doing stuff. But the 5D world will shift into somewhere else.
Yeah, that's the goal, yeah.
Yeah, and that's what the objective is. So when we understand the mechanics of the illusions, of the programming, of the wrong concepts that we gain just to be trapped here, no, we need to clear that up. And I think this discussion is about defining all these different things and not being afraid. I mean, ultimately, what is the whole thing? Well, or one of the things we discussed is the fear that and worry that some people will have if they believe that they met, maybe in a wrong way, their twin flame and they lost it. Now, it could have been just a romantic thing, but they projected on it that that was my twin flame and I lost it and I will never get another one anymore. Could you imagine how horrible their life will be after this? Like our dear friend we were talking about, that he believes that that's it. He's gone and there's no more chance. You know, but maybe it wasn't even a twin flame to begin with, right? So anyway, we're trying just to clarify the whole thing more so that we are clear and we fulfill our purpose, whatever that is.
Yes.
So let me see if we finished the slides or what's remaining, but I think we're almost there. One more.